Well, hello, folks.
Howdy, y'all.
That ended rather abruptly. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but here we are. Optimus Fantasy Football, the flagship show, the Optimus Fantasy Show. I, of course, am Nate Polvogt, your host, joined by my co-host, the one and only Miss Kacey Kasem.
Howdy, y'all.
Kind of like the top 40 guy, but way freaking better in my opinion for a million reasons.
Well, thank you. I'm not as talented, but I appreciate that,
Do you think he couldn't have set a fantasy football lineup, let alone multiple? Come on, you're way better, Kacey.
I don't know. I never got to sit down with the man and have a conversation because, pick his brain about fantasy, see if he was in it. I bet he could set a lineup. I bet he could.
I don't think he could. And we got Myth Carrion over on Twitch saying, agree to disagree. You're super talented. And I agree.
Oh, thank you. I was just fishing for compliments there, so I appreciate it.
Well, as you do. We know how you roll, Kacey. Well, here we are. Week 6 of the NFL season, if you can believe it, Kacey. I can't believe we're already here. It's going too fast, maybe. It's also not going fast enough for the teams that are just getting obliterated by injuries. And some of these just like wildly underperforming players. Random trades in the middle of the season. I mean, granted, they make sense, but a lot to get to today. So let's go ahead and kick it off here first. We're going to go to Joe Flacco getting traded yesterday to the Cincinnati Bengals. You had to figure, Kacey, that Cincinnati was going to do something. Jake Browning has been atrocious.
He sure
Absolutely
has.
He's horrible. And he hasn't just been horrible, but he's been horrible to our fantasy rosters as well, with Jamar Chase just wildly underperforming up until this past week where he did get the 2 touchdowns, but still hasn't been great. But now Joe Flacco, he was no longer the starter in Cleveland. They've latched on to Dylan Gabriel. Made sense they would get rid of the veteran for whatever they could get. They get a 5th round pick back for him. Now, Flacco in Cincinnati in place of Jake Browning. How does this change how you look at this offense? First, let's start with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, I think. Rest of season, Flacco is starting on Sunday. Rest of season, do you think this elevates Jamar Chase and T. Higgins back to kind of where we thought they were with Joe Burrow?
I think they get a bump. I think with Chase, he's been one of those guys where even with Burrow out of the offense, he's still getting the work. I'm not so concerned there. I think that Flacco's going to be able to get him. I think that when it comes to T, I don't think it can get worse. It hasn't been what we wanted so far. I think this will be a bigger bump for him, hopefully.
Well, yeah, I mean, I had T. Higgins as a top 15 wide receiver, even with Jamar Chase, because we saw Joe Burrow support 2 top 15 wide receivers last year. I think Flacco can do the same. I think we see T. Higgins get a huge jump. Chase Brown's still inefficient, and like that's not going to change, right? And we'll talk about him a little bit later in the show. And I don't think this helps Chase Brown at all. I think this is now Zach Taylor can go back to what he wants to do, which is primarily throw the ball downfield. Joe Flacco can get the ball downfield. My only concern, Kacey, and I guess I'm curious to see where you sit on this, is he's an old man.
Yes.
Like in football terms, he's an old man. He doesn't move well. He never moved well in the pocket to begin with, but now he's even more immobile. The Cincinnati offensive line is bad.
Yeah, that's true.
I worry about Joe Burrow just getting crushed early on, just getting beat up and then not being able to play through the season. And then we're back to Jake Browning. Does that concern you at all?
I mean, it concerns me a little, but I think even if Flacco's banged up just a little, he's still a better option than Jake Browning. So I think as long as he can, we've seen it in the past where he's played solid for a stretch of games. You just got to stay upright, like you said. And I think 41-year-old me versus 40-year-old Joe Flacco, he's going to bounce back a whole lot better than me, obviously. But I don't think that it's going to be. God, that offense is just going to suck for a while, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, without Joe Burrow, and then even they've got to do something about that line. Because
man.
Burrow's going to keep getting hurt.
Yeah, and then,
right?
And you're going to keep killing your quarterbacks back there. And then what? Like, you're at Flacco now.
Yep.
Browning, and then he goes down, then what? Like, I could just see that happening.
Right.
I always think of the worst case scenario in every situation.
Yep, we get Josh Johnson back in the NFL and away from the commercials. That sounds like the best case. I know, me too. Yeah, and like I said, I don't think this helps Chase Brown. He's already been bad. The inefficiency is really the thing with him, and there's nothing about Flacco that's going to change that with Chase Brown.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a little in the passing game, maybe because Flacco utilizes maybe, but I don't see it. I don't see it really. I mean, that's like the biggest maybe ever.
Flacco's more of a get the ball downfield guy, I guess. And maybe we do see a little bit of an elevation in the passing game for him. He had 65 targets last season, but right now, 2.46 yards per carry for Chase Brown. That's not going to change. So you got to hope for some PPR upside.
It's not great.
If you've got Chase Brown in a standard league, I'd probably be done with him at this point.
Yeah.
Yep. Now we're going to move on to another quarterback. This injury lacking Lamar in Baltimore. I don't love this. Well, I don't love it at all. We are hoping that he gets back after the bye week, which they've got a bye week here coming up. He'll be out this week. Week 6 is what it seems to be trending to. He did not practice again yesterday, Kacey. Most of these guys were unplayable last week in Baltimore. Rashad Bateman has been unplayable anyways, but Zay Flowers unplayable. Mark Andrews looked unplayable. Derrick Henry, regardless of quarterback, has looked pretty much unplayable. I mean,
but we've been playing him.
Yeah, I mean, you're playing. He's RB23. He's RB23 mostly on the back of a stellar week 1. He almost had 30 PPR points, but since then,
yes.
Yeah, exactly.
He's here. He's doing it. We're gonna win.
Well, it was exactly what we expected. Same old Derrick Henry, but since then he's RB35.
It is,
yeah.
It's taking a toll on all of our rosters because we're not sitting him. I'm guessing most people aren't.
You can't.
Him, so
it's like the AJ Brown conundrum, right? Because the minute you sit them, they're going to go off. Against the Rams, we've got the Rams this week. Kacey, are you starting? Of course, you're not starting Lamar Jackson. Are you starting Derrick Henry?
I'm flexing him. I mean, the Rams play the run well. I'm not expecting like lights out. I've been starting him in a top running back situation just because of injuries and all that other stuff. But I might he's going to be relegated to being a flex for me this week.
And I think that's where his value is going to lie most of the rest of this
sucks
season.
Because you did not draft him to be that guy. No. And that's what stinks about. That's what I know. I'm saying what everybody already knows.
Well, at this point, Baltimore's 1-4. Like, this is not the Baltimore team we thought we were going to get. No, it looks like it kind of feels like they might need a coaching change in Baltimore, Kacey. Like, it's getting to that point now where you've got to really question John Harbaugh. He's been around for a long time. This team's had 2 head coaches in their history, Bill Belichick and John Harbaugh. Might be time for a change. And maybe they need to change. Maybe if Monken can kind of go to more of a throw-heavy offense here, because Henry's lacking, and that's killing this team. It's killing them. And again, until we get Lamar Jackson back with Cooper Rush at quarterback, nobody in this offense is startable.
Oh, Cooper. Yeah, if you can pivot, like I know situations you got to, but if you can pivot, somebody's been on fire lately, got some waiver wire gem that's just twinkling at you.
Yep.
Some situations you got that. Lucky you if you have nobody injured on your roster.
Yeah, that must be nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that's like. Yeah, and if you're looking to make a pivot, like at tight end right now, guys like AJ Barner, Mason Taylor's a good one, Kacey. Ton of volume last week, and I think it's trending towards Mason Taylor's going to be the wide receiver 2 behind Garrett Wilson in this offense. Because
that's what we wanted.
Oh, and that's what we were hoping for. I didn't think it would come to fruition this season, but it has. He's a really good pivot right now, and he's not super widely rostered on Sleeper. 42%. He's a little bit lower on ESPN, so that's a good pivot this week if you're looking to replace Mark Andrews. Wide receiver isn't nearly as pretty, really, Kacey. You're looking at guys like Ryan Flournoy over in Dallas, who I think is a good flyer until CD comes back. I think he could continue to see some volume. His snap share wasn't out of this world, but it was good enough. Kendrick Bourne too, if we don't see Brock Purdy this weekend, which it looks like we're trending towards it, but should Mac Jones start, I'd roll out Kendrick Bourne again.
Yep. Kendrick Bourne.
Kendrick Bourne. All right. Let's move on to our next segment here, Kacey. The panic meter. It's getting a little bit less, but there's still some concerns. We're going to start at quarterback, and this is the glaring one, Geno Smith. Geno Smith has 9 interceptions through 5 games. He looks horribly inaccurate, like a shell of himself. Is he going to right the ship in Las Vegas, Kacey, or is this who he is? And are we maybe going to see Kenny Pickett or Aiden O'Connell?
Yeah. This is who he is. I believe it's what we're going to get for the rest of the season if he continues to be in that starting role. Yeah, those interceptions, you're not going to get any, and that's so bad for looking at it at a fantasy standpoint, that's so bad for the rest of the guys that we have on our rosters, because Geno Smith wasn't one of those guys we went out and drafted, but other guys on that roster we did. It's going to need a change. They're going to need to shake it up a little, because it just can't keep happening. Or it's just going to continue to be.
I don't think you're going to get worse from Pickett or Aiden O'Connell either. Mm-hmm. Well, here's kind of the asterisk to that, because if Brock Bowers misses extended time, I don't think it matters who's at quarterback. This offense is just going to be a wreck. Jacoby Myers isn't a bona fide wide receiver 1. I've been saying it for years. No one would listen to me, but he's just not. Nobody listened to me, but I was right.
I like him so much. It's just hard for me to not.
But you've got Trey Tucker, a guy who no one was talking about leading into the season, has essentially become you were, of course, but he's become the wide receiver 1 in this offense. He's got 28 targets. He's wide receiver 16. He slowed down a little bit after a huge performance in week 3. He only had 2 targets in week 4, but he came back in week 5 against Indy and had 6. Mm-hmm. This guy's seeing an 85 to 95% snap share almost every single week. Jacoby Myers is like a back-end wide receiver 2 at this point. And I don't think Trey Tucker is going to be a wide receiver 1. He's just also a back-end wide receiver 2. With a floor, the scary part is with these guys, though, Kacey, I think in this offense is, that's their ceiling.
Yeah.
Mid-level, like mid to back-end wide receiver 2. But their floor is like wide receiver 8 tier.
Yes, and
it's very bad.
And you're never going to know. And that's the thing, too. You draft these guys, and we say it every year, but I feel like this year's been one of those things where it's like, all these guys you're drafting to be these top guys are not these top guys. And then you go pick these waiver wire guys up who hit 1 week, and the next week you're like, crap. So wide receiver is kind of a fun one this year.
It has been very difficult. And I will say the one person not affected by quarterback play is going to be Ashton Jaunty. I just think he's quarterback proof. It doesn't really matter. 21 for 138 against Chicago, kind of a downturn against Indy, but he did have 7 targets. So if they're trending towards throwing the ball his way more, even better. Gotta love that. All right. Next up on the panic meter, Kacey, Alvin Kamara over in New Orleans. This has been a very strange decline. Didn't really show any signs at the end of last season. No one was really worried about him, but as it stands, he's got 1 touchdown this season. He's running back 24, mostly on the back of a week 2 game against San Francisco, where he caught all 6 of his targets for 21 yards and then had 21 carries for 99. The only other saving game he really had was week 1, where he actually had a touchdown, but otherwise it looked bad. 11 for 45, 1 touchdown. And here's the other thing that this is what really concerns me the most about Alvin Kamara: declining snap share from 80% in week 1 down to right around 55% in week 5, versus Kendre Miller, who we're watching steadily climb up to where it was almost an even snap split between the two in this backfield last week. Kacey, on the panic meter here, where are you on Alvin Kamara?
I'm pretty panicked about it, just because he's not scoring and they're not getting him into a position to score. Like, this offense is having more trust in Spencer, and they're out here with, they have a new head coach. Things are changing, and we've got more guys getting, like the tight end in Johnson, and Olave. I mean, they're taking a lot of those targets, and then you have that offense is actually surprising. At the beginning of the season, we're talking about how these guys, we don't know, but Olave and Shaheed breaking off that big play last week. It's like, come on, kind of taking a back seat. The trade talks and everything. I'm like,
Well, and like, okay, to your point with Olave, 54 targets already this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's trending towards getting near 200 targets. That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
In this offense with Spencer Rattler, but you're right. These other guys are taking away the volume. And then you've got a guy in Kendre Miller who, for whatever reason, Dennis Allen put him in the doghouse, but he's been decently efficient. He's 4.34 yards per carry, right? He's got one touchdown at least. He's not seeing a lot of volume in the passing game. Kamara will continue to see that, but this looks like a guy who's going to take over at least the rushing side of this. He's going to be the one getting the carries. And if they're throwing to Kamara less, his value begins to like really become concerning to me. Running back 27.5 PPR right now. I'm selling Kamara in Dynasty if I can. In redraft, you're still flexing him, but I mean, you've got to know that his floor's just gotten lower.
Yeah.
While we're on the panic meter, Kacey, I want to get to this one real quick because making start-sit decisions can put you into a panic state here. Albert Merrickman on YouTube wants to know full PPR. Are we going Cortland Sutton or are we going George Pickens this week?
Ooh, that's a juicy one. I personally am probably going Pickens here. Yeah, I just feel like I'm going to trust more what I'm getting from him fantasy points wise.
Well, the matchup, Sauce Gardner versus Cortland Sutton all morning in London. So I will definitely take the Pickens matchup against Carolina. He can take Jeremy Chin and he can take JC Horn. I'm not worried about that. I'm more worried about the matchup with Sauce Gardner. Jamie Prague wants to know when our Q&A show is. Jamie, buddy, that is Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. We will be live, me and Keith Fleming, to help you set your lineups.
Love you,
get ready for the weekend.
Keith. I love Keith. He's such a great dude. Just wanted to.
Keith is awesome, man. I love Keith. I love our show. I always look forward to it. What I don't love, Kacey, is DeAndre Swift at RB32 right now. We were drafting him. I know. We were drafting him as, I would say, a back-end RB2, maybe a mid-level RB2. I felt like there was a lot of hope that he was going to find his footing in the Chicago system, even though I kept saying Ben Johnson didn't like him the first time. What changed other than he just got stuck with him? And I don't know that much did. If you kind of look at the last 5 games, he had 17 carries week 1 and 81% snap share, but he hasn't been above 70% since. 57% in week 2 against Detroit, 66% snap share week 4 against Vegas. He's just not seeing volume. He's got 2 touchdowns, and when he is getting volume, he's been mostly inefficient with it, Kacey. Right now, he's averaging 3.3 yards per carry.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't feel like there's a place for him in this offense. This doesn't feel like a team that wants to run the ball very much. They like Romo Dunze a lot. They've got DJ Moore and other pieces they can throw to. And like, to be honest, they're not even throwing it to DeAndre Swift that much. He's only got 18 targets through 5 games.
Yeah. 3 passes at least in each game, but that he's been able to bring in. But yeah, the receiving usage, not as great as you'd like. The carries, 3.3 yards. Yeah. Like, really, you're seeing 14 carries a game or whatever in the last game, and then it doesn't matter. 3.3 yards per carry. That's just, it's depressing.
It's not enough to get a first down on 3 straight carries. So why would you give him the ball? Yeah, this just feels like an offense that's trending away from DeAndre Swift. And Kyle Mononga is starting to get carries.
But that running game is they're just having a hard time with it.
They just can't run the ball. And Ben Johnson, I think, is smart enough to know, okay, well, we're throwing the ball well, so we just need to lean into that. On DeAndre Swift, I think this is about what he is rest of season. Yep. Now, Drake London, wide receiver 35 right now, Kacey. Again, this is a guy that we are drafting as a borderline wide receiver 1, high-end wide receiver 2. Wide receiver 35 right now. And, of course, we had a bye week and blah, 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 whatever. But the quarterback situation is a little iffy. I mean, Michael Penix hasn't looked good. Drake London seeing targets, 15 in week 1, 4 in week 2, 8 in week 3, 10 in week 4, had the big week 4 game against Washington, 8 catches and a touchdown. But that feels like an anomaly. That feels like a boom game that isn't going to be repeated often this season because of this offense. Are you as panicked about Drake London as I am right now?
I'm not as panicked, maybe. Maybe I'm not as panicked because I mean, I like to look at the positives too. I like to look at, well, they fired their wide receivers coach, so that could be something that's kind of lighting a spark. And the schedule's not extremely blah going forward, so I have hope that it's not going to continue to be more of the same going forward. Maybe we'll get more of like his good game in week 4. Moving on. So I am concerned, but I'm not like, whoa. I'm gonna have to bench him soon or anything. Come back to me in a couple of weeks. Sorry.
Sure, and obviously we're just coming off of a bye week. They've got Buffalo and San Francisco week 6 and week 7, and then it does ease up. Miami, New England, Indy, Carolina, New Orleans, and they've got the Jets, Seattle, Tampa Bay. I think it gets a little better. I think he climbs into kind of maybe high-end wide receiver 3, back-end wide receiver 2.
I was going to say like a back-end wide receiver 2 or maybe. I don't know.
It feels like his ceiling with Michael Penix.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude has bricks for feet, and when you watch him throw, his footwork is atrocious. That's going to get him in a lot of trouble in the NFL. So,
yes.
Ladd McConkey, wide receiver 41. This one hurts the most, I think, Casey. Again, he's someone who we were drafting as a wide receiver 1. We assumed that what we saw last year was going to continue. We've been given no reason to believe otherwise. But as it turns out, Quentin Johnston's a bit of a pumpkin. Yeah, right.
He here right now.
Quentin Johnston is playing at a wide receiver 1 level. Justin Herbert seems to really like him. They're struggling right now. They're now 3-2, I believe. They've lost their last 2 games. They just lost Omari and Hampton. That kind of makes me a little bit hopeful that we're going to see more Ladd McConkey, because we're stuck with Hassan Haskins and Kamani Vidal. Which neither one of those guys are going to do what Hampton could do for that backfield. This is a team that's now going to have to throw more. Moving forward with Hampton on IR, I think at least over the next 3 to 4 weeks, we're going to see an increase in McConkey's usage, but I'm concerned we're not going to see him really get higher than like a mid-level wide receiver 3 at this point.
Yeah, I mean, a sophomore slump, we like to talk about those. Oh, this might be a sophomore slump for him. They're going to take the Dolphins on this week, okay? And the Dolphins are really bad against the run, but like you said, the run game is kind of bleh. So they're going to have to probably pass it. It's going to have to move through the air. So it is sad to see, but yeah, it's going to be.
I think we had a couple good weeks, and nobody could have seen this, like, I don't know, resurgence from Keenan Allen coming.
That is amazing, though.
Yeah, wide receiver 14 in PPR formats right now, which is just incredible. Okay, we got 2 more, Casey. First one, Travis Hunter, a guy a lot of people were speculating would be a wide receiver 2. It's in some fashion. Right now, it's wide receiver 68. I'm going to say it. I'm not surprised. He's a rookie trying to play both ways. Week 1 got everyone excited because he saw 8 targets against a really weak Carolina defense. Since then, 6, 2, 5, and 3 targets. They're trying to work him more into the defensive side of things. He's been very good at cornerback. Do you think he gets any higher in fantasy? Do we think we see an increase in usage? Or is this who he is in this offense? They're 4-1 right now. They don't necessarily need him to do much.
Yeah.
And it feels like Cohen's just going to save him more for the defensive side of things with some spot usage in the passing game.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be more of the same with him. The 3 catches, 64 yards that he had. I mean, I see that as being close to like what you're going to see as a ceiling for him. I guess it's a good for him, quote unquote, not good for this person or anybody else that has him on their rosters. But Brenton Strange, going to IR is kind of a blow. Yeah. Not to say that that's going to help Hunter out any. I don't think it will, but if you're one of those people that likes to look at all the stuff and be like, oh yeah, maybe. I'm not that person, but
No, me either. I know. I think that work ends up as gross as it sounds. That's going to go to like Hunter Long. We already saw it kind of go to Hunter Long. Johnny Munt could get some of it too.
Yay!
Yay, Johnny Munt. Okay, Casey, last one. We kind of talked about him a little bit already. Mark Andrews, tight end 15. a guy we were drafting as a top 5 tight end. You've got Cooper Rush at quarterback, but even before then, Mark Andrews didn't look good. Looks a little beat up, looks kind of tired. I'm panicked. I think this is who Mark Andrews is, and I think tight end 15 might actually end up being a little high for him at the end of the season. He's being lifted up by that game against Detroit where he caught all 6 of his targets. He got the 2 touchdowns, had 91 yards. He might do that one more time this season.
Yeah. It's going to be very boom and bust with him, with more bust than boom. And, the fact that Jackson's out doesn't help. The fact that, week 6 doesn't look so great. Then they have the bye. You're probably holding him because of the name value and where you drafted him, but you're getting in the point in time where the injuries are stacking up and the bye weeks. And can you afford to roster multiple tight ends on your roster? Can you?
I'm at a point where I am probably, if I have a better option at tight end, if I have someone I like a little bit more, Juwan Johnson, Harold Fannin, David Njoku, Sam Laporta even is starting to see an uptick in work. I would rather start those guys than Mark Andrews. And I'm not flexing Mark Andrews.
I'm not flexing him either, especially with tight end.
No, his floor is too low. And the other problem really is his team can't run the ball, which was the big reason why Andrews was so good and why he was so productive, because teams had to focus on the run. So you're taking some of those bigger guys who are covering Andrews out of the equation. You put some of these smaller corners on him, they can't cover him.
No.
You're getting mismatches. You're not getting those mismatches for Andrews anymore. Maybe you'll get him when Isaiah Likely's fully healthy and playing, but probably not.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, I don't see it. All right, Kacey, I want to get to a question we've got in the chat here, and then we'll move on to our last 2 quick hit segments. T over on YouTube was offered Jonathan Taylor to give up Tet McMillan and Rashee Rice. Should he accept this offer? T, I've got a couple of questions. If you could pop these back in here, and then we can answer this question more thoroughly. PPR, half PPR, standard. Is it a super flex? And we need to know as well. Yep, that's what I need to know. Those are the things we need to know. So if you can come back with those, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think we can answer your question. Until then, Kacey, let's get into the best and worst of week 6. Let's start with yours. Well, and mine. We seem to have the we do this. We have the same worst game.
I tried to find another one. I'm pretty sure I had a couple, but I was like, no, I'm not going to. I can't. And I didn't look at Nate's because I knew we were going to do worst and best. And so
here's the thing, Kacey, there isn't a worse game on the slate than Tennessee at Las Vegas. That's a 4:05 p.m. Eastern start on Fox. You'll be glad to know you can get tickets for as low as $101 right now on StubHub for this game. I wouldn't pay $1. I might. I've driven by Allegiant Stadium a couple times in Vegas. It's freaking cool. I would love to go there.
Pro Bowl games, baby.
Yeah, that's a game I would go. I wouldn't go to this one. We just talked about Geno Smith. He's not playing well. No Brock Bowers again this week. It sounds like this offense sucks. Tennessee sucks. This is just going to be a dumb game. It's going to be like 22-19. And it's going to be mostly a weird composition of field goals and like a safety or something. I don't know. I'm not here for it whatsoever.
No, I'm not really either.
No.
Yeah. Even if I have fantasy players going in that game, that's one where I'll just catch the highlights.
Well, this is why God invented Red Zone, Kacey.
Yes.
Duh. All right, let's get to the best one. I almost picked yours. So let's go ahead with that one first.
Okay. I picked the Lions at Chiefs. That's who I chose. I'm excited for that one. I don't know how much more yours, I am also very excited to watch. I'm just looking for these games that I think the scoring is going to be high in, and I'm going to have lots of fantasy players that are actually going to be relevant. I think it'll be a fun one for fantasy watchers.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I'm most excited to, please God, just watch the Chiefs lose again. That has been bringing me such great joy this season as a Broncos fan. I'm here for it. Plus, I think I think it's going to be an exciting game. It's Sunday Night Football. Hopefully it's entertaining, but I think it will be. The game that I picked, San Francisco at Tampa Bay. That's an afternoon slate game, Casey. Also, that one is at 4:25 p.m. in Tampa Bay. Tickets as low as $110 for this one. I'd buy those.
Okay.
I'd buy those. I mean, they're probably really crappy seats, but if I had the money, I'd totally do it. This game, again, I think this is going to be fun. I'm interested to see how San Francisco handles this Tampa Bay offense because they just keep finding weird ways to win. I'm interested to see how this Tampa Bay offense handles the San Francisco defense. And I'm interested to see what San Francisco's offense can do to keep up with Tampa Bay in this game. They keep playing and staying in these games and winning these games where we think you're so beat up, there's no freaking way you're going to be able to pull this off. And they do it. And I'll take any opportunity to watch Baker Mayfield and have fun with it.
Yeah. Baker, touchdown maker. That's my dude.
Yeah. I just want to throw this one out there. Yes, I agree as a Titans fan, even Titans fans don't want to watch the game, Casey.
It's all right. I get you. I've been there. I've been there. There's been times I really don't want to watch my team either. So.
The Trevor Siemian years here in Denver, those were ugly, man. It's not fun. But I had all you
players as quarterbacks. I like that when we had baseball players as quarterbacks.
Hey, why not? Give it a shot here. On the spot this week, Casey, Joe Flacco finishes his QB blank in his Bengals debut.
Good one. 29. I think he's going to be down there. Boom.
Yeah. The only thing that gives me a little bit of pause, I've got him at QB 29 as well. I've got him one spot.
Oh,
but the one thing I wonder just a little bit, is he going to be elevated like the adrenaline for his game in Cincinnati? Much better team than he was on before in Cleveland. He's got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Is that going to elevate him a little bit? But I'm not willing to bank on it. I've got him at QB 29.
Okay. I was like, if you elevate him a little bit to like 28 or 27, maybe, but I'm still not really somebody I'm.
Yeah, watch. Flacco comes out. He drops like 50 something, 5 touchdowns.
It's one of those weird, what the hell happened kind of.
You never know. I mean, Daniel Jones, we're still every week is what the hell happened.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's true.
But hey, guys, if you want to talk about everything we talked about on the show today and more, but you're watching the replay and you couldn't get into the chat or you're listening to the audio version, pop on over to our Discord channel, waiver wire advice, dynasty discussions, best NFL bets, DFS advice, and lots more. The link is in the show description. Come hang out with us, staff, and all of our friends. And then when you're done with that, head on over to tools.optimusfantasy.com and unlock your fantasy advantage. 25% off your first 4 months with the promo code OptimusFall. We just launched a new betting tool, Casey, and it is freaking awesome. It's got the full slate of NFL games for the next 2 weeks. It's got lines from 11 different books to compare right in front of you. We've got player props for every game and everything. It's going to give you the option to browse all your favorite books, figure out which one has the best odds, place that bet. Again, tools.optimusfantasy.com. The code is OptimusFall. Check that out. One more in the chat here, and then we will get out of here. Jamie Parag, friend of the show, was just offered Jonathan Taylor for Hampton, Omarion Hampton, and a 2026 first. He has Hampton 2 spots of Taylor in Dynasty. Hates dumb people. I wouldn't make that deal. There's no way. I want Hampton long term. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I see you countered. That is awesome. I love that. I love that you countered because
Jamie countered with CeeDee Lamb in the 2026 first for his Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Love that. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, if they'll take it.
Let me know what they send back if they don't accept that and they decide they want to counter because I'd like to see the back and forth go on there.
Yep. Guys, and also make sure that you head on over to Blue Sky. I just want to let everyone know we've got a fantastic news desk account. We're getting all the news out for everybody else on Blue Sky, so make sure you go check that out. optimusnews.bluesky.social. It's run by the one and only Carly Manger, and she is killing it over there, so make sure you check it out. Casey, it's been great. I'm ready for week 6. I hope you all are ready for week 6. Get out there, win your matchups. I'll be back tomorrow for the DFS show and a little bit later this afternoon with Lou Brunson and Evan Sather for the Optimus Dynasty show. A little rankings check-in to see where we're at on some players, risers, fallers, and such. So make sure you check us out for that. Until then, I'm Nate Polvogt for Kacey Kasem, guys. Have a great rest of your Thursday.